Hi, my name is Eileen Ryan. I'm an executive recruiter and a job search strategist with Pounding Pavement 101. I am here today with Maria Castillo Dominguez. We are talking about what do you do financially after a career break? How do you enter that job market again? Maria, please introduce yourself. Welcome.
Thank you, and hello everyone. My name is Maria Castillo Dominguez. I am a certified financial planner and the founder of Valoria Wealth Management. At Valoria Wealth Management, we are a financial planning firm that focuses mostly on professional women and their families. So today I'm very excited about this conversation because this topic affects a lot of the women I work with.
And we were just talking about this before we started coming on and the things that we've experienced. So let's get into this. Well, before we get into this, I want to remind everyone to subscribe or follow to get alerts every time that I post new content to help you in your careers and in your job search. So Maria, what financial challenges are people facing when they have that career break?
Yes, there are a few. Starting with, now you're starting to look for a job, and it's likely that you're gonna have a lower starting salary because you lost a few years of work. It may have been a sabbatical. It may have been that you were a stay-at-home mom for a period of time. Whatever that was, you lost a few years where you were not, according to the companies, building your skills. So it's likely that you're gonna have to start at a lower salary.
Now I'm going to pause that a second because yes, you've lost your seniority. However, a lot of women who are re-entering the workforce, so they've taken time out with, to take care of the kids, take care of elderly parents or family members. There is a way to pivot that career, okay, to get back in. And that's something that I help with, and I show them how to do it and how to negotiate those salaries. So yes, there is sometimes that step back financially. How do you deal with that? Because, we try to get the salary up where it was, and certainly there's been an inflation of salaries lately. So even though, let's say you're earning $50,000 years ago, that same job might be more money now, but with inflation, it kind of equals out. So what do we do then?
Prepare to negotiate. There are certain things that you have done during this time that maybe whatever that was that you were doing, maybe you were volunteering or certain organizations or whatever that is.
But that experience counts.
Exactly.
That, even though it wasn't a paid job, okay, that experience, it counts. You weren't sitting at home eating bonbons. I mean, just running a family alone, okay, and running the kids to carpooling and coordinating schedules. Let me tell you, it's no different. Those are skill sets. Maybe you were working at the PTO. Maybe you were working raising funds for the education foundation. That is experience that counts, even though it wasn't paid.
Exactly. Even volunteering at schools, right? Maybe with your kids' school or some things like that. Those are skills that you build that you never maybe did before, and you can utilize that. Hey, I have experience doing this or doing that. So prepare to negotiate. And at the beginning, it maybe feel a little bit more insecure, and it happens often because maybe you were not in a workplace for a couple of years. So you may feel a little bit more insecure, but don't underestimate the skills that you have. So they may come out with starting a lower salary, but be ready to negotiate and be confident of the skills that you have built when you were working at a paid job and when you were volunteering too.
That's right. You have skills. They have a job. They have a bucket of money to give someone to do that job. Just because you've been out a couple of years, that doesn't take away from the skills and the work ethic that you have. As and from personal experience, I certainly understand that. You may have lost some seniority, but it's time to get back into the fold again.
Other things to look at too is credit and loan approval challenges. Let's say that you took a break, maybe you are single, let's say, and you decided to take a sabbatical. Well, if in that time you did not have an income, getting approved for credit or loans can become a challenge. So you have to have a history of income before you can apply to those things. So be aware of those things. Other things too is certain expenses that you may have now too. For example, childcare. Or maybe it's also a more auto expenses, let's say gas, also clothing. If you go to the office now, you need clothing. So there are going to be extra expenses that you have to add to what you used not to have anymore. And then maybe the cost of investing in new skills that you can negotiate this with the company. But some things that you can add to is, hey, I want to build up my skills now in this, especially if you're doing a career change. You may want to add a little bit of buffer to build your skills.
Yeah, because technology is changing oh so quickly, and you do need to stay up. Just because you've been out for a couple of years, number one, that doesn't mean that you can't learn the skills, and that doesn't mean that you're excused from the skills. So you've got to stay up with what's happening in the industry at all times.
Yeah.
And certainly, you know, when I have career conversations with people who are re-entering the workforce, I kind of direct them as to what they need to learn, how they can improve those skills, so this way we can market them better to those recruiters. It makes all the difference in the world, because again, they're looking and comparing you against every other candidate. They have a bucket of money, they have a job to be done, they want the best person to hire to do that work. So we have to up your game. That's the best way to describe it. So now all of a sudden you're going back to work. Your retirement savings, because now you have a shorter time to save versus a longer career to save for that retirement. I would think the best thing to do would be to speak with someone like you to advise them every step of the way.
Yes, definitely. So this is one of the challenges that affects to many people, but majority to women, because women tend to have more career breaks to care for family, etc. So what is going to happen now? Like, you took a career break, let's say to take care of kids or take a sabbatical, whatever the reason that was. During that time, you were not contributing to things like Social Security, you were not paying into Social Security, and also you were not contributing to retirement accounts like 401k or Roth 401k. So now it's time to start contributing again and start building that up, especially knowing that financial planning for women is a lot different. We live longer, we get paid less, so it's different. So what do we do here? Usually when I have a client that is taking a career break and is coming back to work, I say, hey, let's look at your cash flow now, because your cash flow is about to change again. And it's for the best. Right now you're making more money, but you have to get comfortable with your cash flow again. You're gonna have extra expenses like the one that we talked about, and you gotta get comfortable. So I don't mind give you 2-3 months, see how your cash flow feels, and then we can determine how much you want to start contributing to both retirement accounts and non-retirement accounts. What does your cash flow look like? What is your capacity to save? And still maintain your lifestyle and live the way that you want to live. And
so should someone, as they're entering the job market again, should they be reaching out to you in advance or once they get the job?
Anytime is good. It's never a bad time to start planning.
Always to have the knowledge and have an expert advisor walking you through this.
Exactly.
That's got to help at any given moment.
Exactly. Yes. So I would say, hey, it's okay if you take 2-3 months to review a little bit your cash flow, see how it feels, and then you can determine what this is looking like and how much I can save to which account, depending on your income, your tax situation. Maybe you have another spouse working too, traditional versus Roth, or a little bit of everything, or one versus the other. It's gonna depend for every person, right? So it's time to make those decisions and determine what is best for you. Another thing is automate your savings. So as you know, 401k goes directly from your paycheck. Do the same. Even if you can put $100-200 in your savings account, automate it directly from your paycheck to your savings account. You don't even see it. What does it say? Out of sight, out of mind.
And they always say pay yourself first. So that's a perfect way to do that.
Exactly. And then just invest wisely. If you are In a 401k, make sure that you're going to have good options. Most of them have good investment options, limited, but good. If you're not, you're going to have tons of options. Be wise about investing. Do not sit in big amounts of cash for a long time. It's not keeping up with inflation. It's not working for you. And when you're looking at your investments, make sure that you have an investment approach that aligns with you and what you need and what time you have and how much risk you can take and how do you feel about risk. It's very different for every person.
Wonderful information. And as you are choosing that job, you have to look at the total compensation package. It's not only the salary, there's so many other things that are involved. And I think people sometimes lose the sight of that because
Yes.
they're only looking at that base salary versus, a bonus that could double your salary or all of the other things. And that's when it's really helpful to reach out to a financial planner because I understand that. And I certainly help my clients walk through that process. And you understand it from that financial standpoint.
Yes. Yes.
So this series is fantastic. Maria, you're giving me information. I hope everyone else is enjoying this information. I would like to remind everyone to subscribe to get alerts every time that Maria and I post more information to help you financially in your career and in your job search. Maria, we're going to keep going. We're going to have a couple in this series, so everyone watch out for those alerts. Thank you so much for doing this. My name is Eileen Ryan. I'm an executive recruiter and a job search strategist with Pounding Pavement 101. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.